Howdy folks, how's it going? Welcome to the brewery, and doing a tasting on this fella here now. This beer's been a little while in the making. A few of you may have seen a picture on Facebook in the last week. This is rum barrel aged tropical stout. This is the stout I did back September last year. Put a link up to the brew day. This was the all-in Writer's Block milk stout that I added stewed pineapple and some coconut water to. I think I listed as brew venture number 6, I think, top of my head. Could be wrong, probably should have checked that, but anyway. That base beer, the tropical stout's been drinking absolutely beautiful. I haven't got through it. It's been 8 months sort of since that beer was kegged. Haven't got through it. Yeah, I haven't been drinking a lot of stout over summer, and I have had the crunchy stout sitting on tap as well. So I've had two stouts sitting there, so it's not something I go to a hell of a lot. But really nice beer. I've taken it off the keg, just I needed to get a little bit of a rotation happening, on the kegerator. So I bottled, I think there's about 3 litres left, so I bottled that up and decided it was time to get this version onto the tap. And this is her. And before I get into any more about this, big shout out to Little John's Patreons. Cheers guys. There's a link down below to Patreon if you're interested. Helps the channel out. And yeah, allows me to play around and do experiments and things that I do here on the channel. Play around with this sort of stuff. If you subscribed, thank you. If you're not, hit the subscribe button down there. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. So I was doing this one, and this happened not long after I did my first funky sour beer and put it into a keg to age and condition. And I sort of decided then, okay, I'm going to get into doing a little bit more of that sort of thing. So when I made this stout, and because it came from the all-in kit, it was, it made 20 litres. That was way more stout than I was going to need. So I thought, well, what a better opportunity than to do something with it. And what better than with a tropical stout with the pineapple, the coconut water that got added to it. What better than rum? it just screams out. It's just like this. It's a no-brainer. Put some rum chips on it. So I went with that. And it's funny I say rum chips because I've been telling people in the last couple of days who've been asking how it went, because this wasn't really documented. I don't even think on the original video. I think I might have mentioned doing it, I'm not sure. I haven't gone back and watched it. But there was no real big fuss made about this at the time. But I thought I'd use some rum chips. I've got rum chips here, actual chipped up Caribbean barrels of Caribbean rum, which I use in my homemade rum. And I assumed I'd use some of those in this. Turns out I didn't. I've got the keg sitting. This is the keg I've aged this in. I've just emptied it out the last little bit of the beer off it to get the chips out, just so I can show you the oak and see what I oaked with. And discovered there's no chips in there, so I obviously didn't use the chips because they were like quite small chippy bits. So I do have a vague memory of being worried about using the chips because they can extract a lot of tannins over time, and that sort of stuff. You don't tend to age your spirits with them very long because of that. So I thought that may be a problem with the beer as well. So obviously I've left them out. So this is what I've used. But I've got to say, this beer is just really, really nice. I remember trying this in probably about 3 months in the keg, and I wasn't there. I thought, oh no, this is not going to work. This is not good. The oak was just not really wasn't doing anything good, and I thought, oh, this is just going to be a waste. And I was concerned that just leaving it longer was just going to make it worse. But I thought, oh, just leave it, let it go. And I haven't tasted since, you know, and there last week, yeah, it must have been last weekend, last bloody, can't even think exactly when it was now, but when I decided to do it, I thought, well, I'll just transfer it over and hope for the best. For worst case scenario, it's taken me 20 minutes and I've got to dump it. I took a sample off, you know, once it had been on the tap for, well, it had been 24 hours, just long enough to get cold, because this went in the keg carbonated, fully carbonated, so there was no need. She was gassy, she was ready to go, it just needed the day to get cold. And yeah, it's got beautiful. It's got like the base stout, I think, was really nice. I referred to it in tasting a lot like it was very much a very standard pub sort of stout. Not big flavours. It was light. It was reasonably, wasn't thin but light bodied, and fairly easy to drink. I think by memory it was about 5.2% alcohol. So it's got to be there. Well, there you go, 4.7. So it was very, very standard, but it was nice. It was really nice drop, simple, easy drinker. The coconut water and the pineapple weren't really doing anything, you know, noticeable in the brew, but it did make whatever it was doing. It just made for a really nice, simple, you know, easy drinking beer. So I think, by estimations, this is probably now around about 5.5%. It's probably added about 0.8% alcohol with the rum, and that is noticeable. That increase in alcohol, it's noticeable. The rum flavour is there. Without being overpowering. You're not going, oh, you can taste the rum, but you can get that it's sitting in there. The oak has just put this nice, lovely smoothness, and it's lifted the body, so it's gained a little bit of heaviness without being ridiculous. So yeah, I'm super happy with that. That's yeah, you know, without sort of tooting my own horn sort of thing, that is one of the best actual barrel aged beers I've bloody ever drunk. I mean, there's some sensational barrel aged beers out there commercially, but a lot of them just sort of can end up a little bit bloody messy, but that's come up really good. So what I want to talk about really, not so much about the beer, because yeah, but it's just the process of how I went through. Because people have been asking me, since I popped it up on the Facebook group, and people have been asking me, how do I bloody oak it? How did I go about getting it in? You know, was I using bags or did a net? Was it blah blah blah? All these people want to know. So, very simple method, and I'll certainly be using this again. This is what I've used. Now, if you've not done any spirits, and you're probably not really going to have any recognition of what this sort of stuff is, but these, I said, I've just taken these straight out of the keg. They were still soaking in beer, so they're bloody wet. And, but they're just chunks of oak, and you buy these. They're called staves or dominoes. That's more a domino, because it looks like a domino, about the size of a domino. That's what's called a stave, and it's a little bit, so it's a bit, they're thinner, but they're a bit wider. And it just depends on what supply you get them from, exactly how these go. But you buy these, and they're toasted to different levels, light, medium, heavy. So that produces different effect on your spirit. And I said, these are normally used to go into a little bit of spirit, for the home distillers. You use about 10 grams a litre in spirits to get that oaking effect. And I think I stuck with about that same level in this beer. Looking at what's here, which is got the scale here. Let's actually bloody weigh what's here. I've probably got bloody notes. If I look to my book, I probably have got notes on this, what I did use. So that's what I've used there. That's 187 grams. There's going to be a little bit of rum in there. So it's about 180 grams. They just went in the keg. What I did around a week before. Let me just pull this back out and see what I've got written there. Should have just grabbed it out while I had it out before. See what I've got. See what I've actually written, everybody. Fabulous. Okay, so 8 litres went into the keg. And I've just got added rum soaked oak chips. Fuck, that's handy. That tells me a lot, doesn't it? Anyway, so 180 grams, 8 litres. That's 22 and a half grams per litre. Just if you want to know. And I said this was a mix of medium char and some heavy char. Again, it's hard to tell at the moment because they're wet. If they dried out, I'd be able to actually tell. But and some of these would have been used previously for oaking rum, and some of these would have been new. Again, I can't remember exactly what the quantities were, but you could just go fresh if you wanted to. Go to eBay, just bloody search for oak staves, oak dominoes, or just do a Google search on it. You'll find there's plenty of suppliers. If you are going to buy some, go to one of the. I know you're not going to be able to pick a reputable company because you don't know who they are, but buy one of the actually online one of the retailers who does the stuff. If I think about it, I'll pop some links down the bottom to some of the people that I've used where I've been happy with the stuff. But what I did a week before that brew was finished, so probably a couple of days after it went on, I stuck the chips into this keg with 150 mils of rum. Now I used I think top of my head 4 different rums I used. 2 of my homemade rums I used, so probably about 40ml of each. I used some Substation 41 and some of the Thunderbird Select Back. But you could use whatever you got. So they went in here, chips went in with them, and they just sat in there for a week. Just the chips just soaking up the rum and whatnot. So I think initially the idea was I was going to take the rum off and then just go on the oak. But in the end, I just went straight on I just dumped straight onto it. So realistically, I might as well have just done that the day I transferred. I could have just dropped it into the keg and then transferred onto it. So either way, but into the keg, purged the keg before I transferred, then transferred the finished beer onto it. And that was it. And that's just sat here in the, in the rack over here for 8 months before I kegged it off. Then transferred straight to another keg. We've got that. That was good. So like, people, I think, get a bit intimidated by oaking. I'm not sure how to go about doing that. I think, I need a barrel, or that was a lot of questions getting. Did I put in a barrel? I've got 5 litre barrels, so I did want to put some into a barrel. I tried to, but the barrel, it leaked when I went to put it in, so I just went straight away. Not happening. I was going to put 5 litres into a barrel and the rest into here, and then so I just went with this method. And it's worked way better than I thought it would. So definitely something I'm going to be using more. So if you got yourself a nice stout and you want to do some oak aging on it, get some oak. If you want to recreate that barrel effect of being in a bourbon barrel or a rum barrel, then you need to add some of the actual spirit, and that was the initial idea of soaking the chips, or stoking this stuff for a week, is to get that flavour into there. So it's like you're taking that out of a barrel. It's still got some of that rum or bourbon, so whichever one, whatever it is you're using. Up to yourself then whether you want to leave the actual liquid itself. You take your spirit off and drink it. Extra oaked, I've done a few different times with with homemade bourbon, ending up with double oak bourbon. Not a bad thing. So, but whichever way you want to do it, both are going to work. You're going to get a different effect. Play around with it. All you need is a spare keg, some oak staves, and these work out. I think it's been a while since I've bought any, because I've actually got quite a few here. But these aren't super expensive. You can use them. You can use them several times. You're going to get a few uses out of them. You can even stick them back in the oven or on the barbecue, and char them up and retoast them, get a bit more life out of them. So they're not an expensive investment, but it gets you a way of making some barrel aged or similar to barrel aged. You just got to be patient. I said 8 months. The oak can work a little bit quicker overall than a barrel does, and I think that had some contribution to that 3 months when it was a little bit heavy. But if you actually using barrels, it's normally at least 12 months, or sometimes up to 2 years that a brewery will leave stuff in a barrel before they'll pull it off. They'll test it and just wait till you get the right time. And that's variable, so it's going to depend on your oaking, what your oaking ratio is, what your char ratios are, how much actual spirit you put in, temperatures, the size of the vessel you've got. Those things are all going to play around. So it's all something you can play around with. And the beauty of like with this, with it being carbonated going into the keg, for me was that you can just take a sample whenever you want. You know, using like bloody the quickie valve or a quick disconnect and a picnic tap. Stick it on your beer side. Just take a quick sample, stick it in the fridge for half an hour to cool it down, and you get an idea of how it's travelling. So that way you can pull it off whenever it's ready, or you can blindly let it go and blindly pull it off at a certain time and try your luck. And you might get you might get a good result like I got. But ladies and gentlemen, if you've thought about trying to oak your beer or do some barrel aging or that sort of thing, it's that easy. It's not hard. You don't need a $300, $400 barrel. You just need a keg that's floating around. But that's a 9 litre keg. You don't need to have a big one. You grab yourself a smaller keg if you want. You could do it do it on the 2 litre on a bloody growler, really. 5 litres, whatever size you can get. Play around with it. Try it out. Easy. Anyway, that's me. Cheers everyone for coming along. That's it. Thanks to the Patreons, thanks to all the supporters of the channel, subscribers, all the rest. Links are all down the bottom. Comments and questions down there if you've got them. Plenty of people are probably going to have them. So there's plenty of questions coming on the Facebook group. If you want anything clarified, stick it down the bottom, no problem at all. But for now, that's me. I'm out here. So till I see you again, we're brewing beer, drinking beer or talking beer. Good brewing. There you go. I've got on the sticker, I wrote rum chips on the sticker. That's why I think there's rum chips in there. Fuck myself over. Anyway, cheers guys.